A $1.7 million bunker disguised like a limo, a $500 million flying Kremlin, and a $2 billion art collection that would put the Louvre to shame. These are the 10 most expensive things owned by the richest world leader, Vladimir Putin. Wardrobe. Vladimir Putin's wardrobe is the stuff of legend. Not the furniture, of course, though. It's most likely not an old squeaking box itself. No, I'm talking about his clothes. Why settle for a regular suit when you can drape yourself in $10,000 worth of Brioni or chiton, right? Apparently, when you're czar of an empire, business casual means walking around in fabrics so fine they make silk pajamas look like potato sacks. Each suit is handcrafted over dozens of hours because, apparently, the global leader of strategic military power needs to feel fabulous while starting bloody wars. And his gym wear? Oh, you know, just the usual $3,200 Loro Piana tracksuit. Because who wouldn't want to burn calories in a suit more expensive than most people's cars? Keep in mind that the average annual salary in Russia is about $15,000 before taxes. So the president is actually sweating in a cloth that's worth 3 monthly wages in Russia. I mean, when you're casually bench pressing Russia's GDP, your sweatpants should also reflect world domination. And while most of us opt for sneakers that can take a beating at the gym, Putin prefers luxury brands like Salvatore Ferragamo for his footwear, with prices starting at $1,000 plus. Gym selfies, anyone? To put it in perspective, the guy could easily buy a small country's entire fashion industry just to cover the cost of his wardrobe. It's almost as if Putin's closet was curated by someone who thinks every day is a state parade, except with fewer medals and more custom Italian tailoring. His entire wardrobe is estimated to cost more than $70,000. But hey, when you rule with an iron fist, you might as well wear a velvet glove. Or in his case, a custom-tailored blazer from a designer with a price tag that screams, "I definitely don't shop at the mall." And just when you think it can't get more over the top, you get inside Putin's lavatory, and your jaw hits the floor. There it is. Putin's gold-plated toilet. When you're Vladimir Putin, each action is a statement. Your morning fitness regime shows the public you're strong. Your 2-mile swim in open waters shows your subjects you are resilient. Your absolutely gorgeous abs inspire awe among the ladies. Your casual bear rides show you are the master not only of man but also of beasts. But most importantly, your bowel movements show you're just as human. However, when you spend $75,000 on a gold-plated toilet, the fixture insists you're just as human, but more human than the rest. One can only imagine him humming the Russian national anthem while perched on this masterpiece, basking in his golden glory. To be honest, Putin's not unique in this regard, and, well, compared to the US former president, Donald Trump, this shiny potty is quite interesting. Our former leader spent over a few million installing a solid gold toilet on his airplane. So, Putin's golden-plated potty just won't cut it. Not even to the $1 million diamond-encrusted commodes that some Arab sheikhs have in their restrooms. So is Putin just playing it humbly in front of the masses, playing the role of a simple man in his golden bathroom? Or are these cuts due to the war effort? Everyone has to give their fair share. For Putin, it's his dream to own a solid gold toilet. But hey, when one of the world's most important men goes to the toilet, at least you know he spends his time there surrounded by luxury. What a relief for the common folk. Speaking of time, when you are Vladimir Putin, every second counts. And what better way to keep up with the time than with a $50,000 timepiece? Watches. Vladimir Putin's watch collection is less about telling time and more about telling the world, "I've arrived." With a collection reportedly worth around $700,000, it's clear that for Putin, wristwear isn't just about fashion. It is a power move. The pièce de résistance in his collection is the A-Lange & Sonnet Turbograph. a rare platinum watch valued at a cool $500,000. This beauty has a sapphire crystal case back and a strap made of hand-stitched crocodile skin, because regular leather wouldn't do when you're running Russia. Then there's his Patek Philippe perpetual calendar in white gold, which costs around $61,000. It's not just a watch, it's a miniature Swiss army knife on your wrist, with complications that keep track of leap years, moon phases, and probably geopolitical shifts. Putin's daily drivers also include a couple of blank pan watches, with the Le Mans Aquilon Grand Date priced modestly at $11,000. And let's not forget the FP Jeune Chronometer Bleu, a $100,000 masterpiece made of tantalum, a rare metal that's as difficult to handle as Putin in a press conference. Interestingly, the man is known for giving away some of these watches, like his $10,500 blank pan, to random admirers. When you've got as many timepieces as he does, I guess handing one that's worth about 2/3 of the average annual salary in Russia is no big deal. But don't think that Putin is all about Western luxuries. The Russian president actually made a huge effort to substitute all Western luxuries with domestic ones. And while there were many failures, when it came to his beloved limo, it turned out to be a huge, undeniable win. Aurus Senat Limousine. Vladimir Putin's car collection is as lavish as you'd expect from a man who likes to arrive in style, preferably in a vehicle that can also survive a missile strike. Among his fleet of expensive rides, there's the Aurus Senat Limousine, a $1.7 million luxury tank on wheels, specially built for Putin. Now, to be honest, the car itself is only $300,000. However, due to the many luxurious and security features, the price bumped up nearly 6 times. After all, the Aurus Senat is Russia's answer to the Beast, the US president's armored car, but with that unique Russian flair. This 23-foot-long monster doesn't just boast luxurious leather interiors and hand-finished wood trims. No, it's equipped with VR-10 level protection, meaning it's bulletproof, explosion-proof, and even has tires that keep rolling after being punctured. There's also a fireproof fuel tank and a filtration system in case of, chemical warfare. Because let's face it, a car that just looks good isn't enough for a world leader like Putin. This thing is a rolling fortress, but it's not all about defense. Under the hood, the Aurus Senat packs a 4.4-liter twin-turbocharged V8 hybrid engine, producing a whopping 590 horsepower, which makes fleeing paparazzi or navigating international diplomacy a breeze. Sure, you might think a car like this is overkill for a commute, but when you're Vladimir Putin, even the drive to the grocery store might require some James Bond-esque tech. Still, while the Aurus is definitely the best way to get from Putin's Novo-Ogayovo residence to the Kremlin, when it comes to traveling between cities, the Russian president takes traveling to another level. Sure, strolling around in what is essentially a moving bunker is nice, but it's even better flying in one. By all means, Putin gives "get to the chopper" a new, fabulously polished meaning. Mi-8 Chopper. Being the Russian president comes with some pretty awesome perks. Great schedule, enough time to work on your sexy abs, and having access to over 15 highly luxurious and refurbished choppers. Still, Putin's favorite is the Mi-8 presidential helicopter. This gorgeous chopper isn't just a ride, it's a $30 million flying fortress decked out like a private club in the sky. Think of it as the airborne equivalent of a 5-star hotel, but with a lot more armor. While you're cruising along in your humble economy seat, Putin is probably lounging on plush leather seats, with a glass of premium Russian beetroot juice, since the Russian leader doesn't drink a drop of alcohol. Still, there's a fully stocked minibar, because who knows when you'll have guests that need some Novichok-flavored vodka. But this isn't just a luxury chopper, oh no. The Mi-8 comes loaded with bulletproof armor, anti-missile systems, and infrared countermeasures. Basically, all the cool spy gear you'd expect in a Hollywood blockbuster. It's like a flying bunker designed to ensure that Putin can sip his beverage in peace while cruising near Ukraine airspace on his way to his Black Sea palace. And in case the UAF gets too curious with a drone, the Mi-8 can casually jam their signal a mile away, sending them straight to the ground. Yes, Putin loves his Mi-8, but come on, it's still a work-related luxury, and those don't really count. Now, if we want to talk about a genuine lap of luxury, we need to talk about Kosatka. Kosatka Super Yacht. Now, Kosatka isn't Putin's only toy in the water. The man's got yachts like most people have socks. Let's not forget Graceful, his 82-meter super yacht, which comes with a wine cave, a spa, and of course, 2 pools that transform into, you guessed it, dance floors. Because why settle for 1 dancing pool when you can have 2? Then there's the Olympia, gifted to him by Roman Abramovich, and Chaika, which is practically modest at a mere $40 million. Each one is fitted with every luxury you can imagine, and a few you probably can't. But Kosatka? That's the crown jewel. I mean, it's got everything but a mini submarine. Oh wait, it does. When you're Vladimir Putin, no yacht is complete without a secret escape pod and armories that would put a small country to shame. The $40,000 carpet in the master bedroom alone is probably too fancy to walk on unless you're Putin, who probably does it while sipping tea out of a cup worth more than a luxury car. The Kosatka, which translated from Russian means killer whale, has a 15-meter indoor pool that, of course, can transform into a dance floor. Because why have a regular pool when you can turn it into a disco on the high seas? Then there's the gilded interior, complete with crystal chandeliers, plush carpets, and priceless works of art that scream, "I'm too rich for IKEA." That's what you get for $100 million, I guess. Security-wise, this yacht is like a Bond villain's dream, equipped with state-of-the-art communication systems and security features that would make Fort Knox jealous. Kosatka isn't just about lounging in luxury, it's about being untouchable while doing so. And just in case you're wondering about its speed, Kosatka cruises at a comfortable 14 knots and has a range of over 4,000 nautical miles. This means Putin can zip around the globe in style, avoiding sanctions and rough waters alike. But enough about the seas. Putin's way too important to be stuck down here with the rest of us. That's why he has Putin Force One, a private jet so tricked out it might as well get its own yacht inside. Putin Force One. Vladimir Putin's private fleet of jets is no joke, but even among his impressive lineup, the Ilyushin Il-96-300 PU, often dubbed Putin Force One, takes the cake. Putin's private air fleet includes up to 5 of these heavily customized Ilyushins. But make no mistake, the $500 million presidential plane is in a league of its own. Sure, Putin gets other private jets, but those are merely flying limos compared to his airborne Kremlin. The Il-96-300 PU is like a high-end hotel in the sky, complete with a private office, meeting rooms, lounges, a mini gym, and, you already know about this one, a golden-plated toilet. Because nothing says global superpower like handling business on a gold seat at 40,000 feet. Inside, it's basically a floating palace. Imagine plush lounges, a conference room that would make the UN jealous, and even a mini gym, so Putin can get in his bicep curls while managing international diplomacy. He's also got a private office where he can, casually control the entire Russian military just in case he feels like multitasking. But the real fun begins with the anti-missile lasers and electronic countermeasures that could probably take down a small army. The plane also doubles as a command post for launching nuclear missiles. Yes, you heard that right. Putin could order a nuclear strike while reclining on his gold-plated toilet. I don't know whether to be terrified or astoundingly impressed. And just in case things get dicey, there are 5 of these Il-96s ready to roll, so he can throw a little jet roulette and pick whichever one he feels like boarding that day. Because what's the point of flying if you're not keeping people guessing? So, as you can see, Putin never leaves the lap of luxury, regardless of whether he's on the road, at sea, or in the skies. But what about when he's at home? Well, that's where the true definition of luxury can be found. Black Sea Palace. Vladimir Putin's Black Sea Palace is less of a house and more of a $1 billion monument to because I can. This behemoth clocks in at 190,000 square feet, which is basically like living in Costco, except with more chandeliers and fewer bargain bulk deals. Perched on a cliff near Gelendzhik, this palace comes with views of the Black Sea that most people only see in postcards. But for Putin, it's just Tuesday. Let's start with the bedrooms. The master bedroom alone is a whopping 2,800 square feet, bigger than most people's houses. If you're thinking that sounds a bit excessive for one person, you're not wrong. But hey, when you've got $1 billion to throw around, why not have a bedroom that can host a small army? And speaking of extravagance, the place is dripping with gold accents, handcrafted Italian furniture, and enough French chandeliers to make Versailles look like IKEA. And of course, it's not just about sleeping. The indoor pool isn't your typical swim a few laps kind of deal. No, this one's got Greek statues looking over it like ancient lifeguards, just in case anyone dares to do a cannonball. And because one pool is never enough, there's also a casino, a private theater, and, wait for it, a hooker lounge, complete with a golden stripper pole. Yep, you read that right, a stripper pole in the presidential retreat. Because why wouldn't there be? And let's not forget the security measures. This place is basically Fort Knox with better decor. It's got underground bunkers, a helipad, and a secret tunnel that leads to a wine tasting room. You know, for those times when Putin wants to ship Chardonnay in a secret underground hideout. The surrounding land? A cool 1,000 acres. Because who needs neighbors when you can just buy all the land around you to keep them away? And don't even think about trying to sail up for a peek. Coastal access is restricted. If all this isn't wild enough, the palace also has its own church. Because after a night of gambling and hooker, a little divine intervention might be in order. Want to relax? Hit the spa or the personal amphitheater for some light entertainment. Oh, and there's a tea house, because tea obviously deserves its own building. I wonder if there's a dedicated Novichok room in the tea house. Indeed, this home is a genuine masterpiece, but let's be honest, that's far from the only masterpiece Putin owns. The Russian president is among the biggest art collectors in the world after all, and his collection is, well, you'll see. Art collection. Vladimir Putin's art collection is the kind of thing that would make even the Louvre a bit jealous, or at least raise an eyebrow. His alleged collection, valued at a mind-blowing $2 billion, includes works from names like Leonardo da Vinci, Michelangelo, Rembrandt, and Rubens. But hold on. Before you picture Putin hanging out with the Mona Lisa in his living room, there is a catch. Some experts question if the collection is even real. Art historians have been scratching their heads, debating whether these pieces are genuine art pieces or just well-done fakes. This treasure trove is said to have been amassed by Nina Maleva and her late husband, who claimed it was passed down from his grandfather, a stage artist. The story goes that he stashed the collection in a hidden attic to protect it from the Bolsheviks. Classic. After the Soviet Union fell, the collection was supposedly appraised at $400 million, but later ballooned to a $2 billion valuation, though none can agree on whether it's worth that much or even close. Despite the mystery surrounding the collection's authenticity, Putin's name is on it. Maleva, a big fan of the president, decided to bequeath the entire collection to him in her will, complete with round-the-clock police guards at her modest Moscow apartment. Because, you know, nothing says valuable art like an anonymous Soviet apartment building. Regardless of its real value, Putin's art collection is just another example of how his tastes for extravagance extends far beyond palaces and planes. Whether it's priceless masterpieces or questionable replicas, Putin knows how to make headlines with his luxurious lifestyle. Indeed, his collection is extremely expensive. Most people in the world can't even comprehend how much $2 billion is. Still, this sum is laughable compared to Vladimir Putin's most expensive possession. It's the backbone of his power and might. It's the cornerstone of his $200 billion fortune. It's Putin's shares in energy conglomerates. When you're the president of Russia, you have tabs on each and every industry. You can't just let those pesky oligarchs have all the fun, you know? That's why Vladimir Putin owns a huge chunk of every prominent business in Russia, from giants like Gazprom and Rosneft to smaller industries and mining operations. This staggering portfolio, worth $30 billion, isn't your average stock portfolio. This is the kind of quote-unquote investment that powers whole countries, keeps dictators cozy, and might just control the thermostat on your winter heating bill. While most of us are out here struggling to pick between Tesla and Apple, Putin's sitting back and watching natural gas and oil pipelines flow money directly into his metaphorical vault, like a scene straight out of a billionaire daydream. Imagine having Gazprom, the world's largest natural gas producer, and Rosneft, one of the biggest oil companies, working for you. This isn't just stock options and dividends, we're talking about controlling the literal fuel that powers a huge chunk of the world. You thought your 401k was cool? Try owning a chunk of a company that can make entire countries shiver if they don't play nice during energy negotiations. One phone call from Putin, and suddenly it's time to dig out the thermal underwear. But of course, Putin doesn't exactly put his name on these assets. It's all shrouded in layers of mystery, shell companies, and the kind of shadowy dealings that make The Godfather look like a bedtime story. And of course, many of these assets have been delegated to his many loyal oligarchs. In fact, one of the most important steps in becoming an oligarch is to be friends with Putin. That's a given, and sure, that's not a huge problem. However, most oligarch wannabes often miss step 1 and fear steps 9 and 10. Are you better than them? Check our step-by-step guide on how to become a Russian oligarch.